today's show.
We discussed the Sixers' statement win over the Bucks, Malcolm Brogdon and McCollum's injuries, and Clyde Frazier calling out LeBron.
Austin Rivers is here to talk the Rockets' chances, James Harden on another level, and that time he challenged KG to one-on-one while he was in high school.
And you won't believe today's edition of Weekend Whoopsies.
It's Monday, March 18th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey. I'm J.E. Skeets, alongside me as always, Tass Mellis. We've got the Aussie Lee Ellis, and over yonder, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey, yo! Trey, what's up tonight?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag The Starters. And guys, 24 years ago today, Michael Jordan came back to the NBA for the first time. That's right, after nearly 2 years in retirement, MJ made his triumphant return to the Bulls. And he did it by sending a simple two-word fax: I'm back. Since it's the anniversary of something coming back, Pizza Hut is getting in the mix, bringing back their calzone, the Pizzone, and doing it via fake fax, saying, I'm back. So this brings us to today's question. What are some other things that should be brought back from 1995? Like, for instance, why don't we bring back fax machines? I know they're still around, but if you ever need to send something that's just a little bit blurry, send it with a fax machine. Maybe we could also bring back TOGs. Skeets, I know you always love that yin-yang slammer. As for me, I'd love to bring back the bowl cut. Might head down to the salon, get my hair straightened, and go for a center part again. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter what other things should we bring back from 1995. Send us your best tweets to hashtag The Starters. We'll hear from you later.
All right, get your tweets in. On tonight's show, Rockets guard Austin Rivers is going to join us live in studio. We got new Weekend Whoopsies. We got a very solid play. We even got a wedgie, finally. But we start here tonight with a little Is This News? Trey's rounded up some of today's NBA headlines. He's going to pitch them to us like he's Jamie Moyer, and we'll determine whether or not they're actually newsworthy. Trey.
Jamie Moyer, I bet he was pitching in 1995. Our first headline, though, is from the Philly Voice, and it reads, the Sixers beat the Bucks by forcing Giannis Antetokounmpo to do it all himself. Is this news?
This game was news.
Yeah,
It was awesome. Two of the behemoths going at it. Giannis 52, Joel Embiid 40, and those two guarding each other a lot of the time.
Yep.
Sixers head coach Brett Brown decided on these switches, you know what? I want Joel Embiid guarding Giannis, and that's how you kind of have to look at Giannis. He's a center, really, when he gets in there because he's so giant. We talked about it. You mentioned maybe you just want to line one guy up with him and let the other four guys shoot, but I don't think they figured him out. I think what they figured out is when Giannis goes to the bench, they stink because they won plus 12 when he was out there,
right,
and they're minus 17 when he was on the bench. That's all that happened, and maybe Malcolm Brogdon's absence, his first game, he's not around until the second round of the playoffs most likely. Maybe that hurt. I think that was a part of it, them sort of learning to play without one of their starters. But I don't think you can take too much from this game.
Well, no, I don't think with Giannis putting up 52 points, you've solved him or the Bucks, because it was still a close game at the end. The Bucks kind of got in it, but I think it was just the approach that Brett Brown took. It was clearly like, okay, we just want to keep Embiid on him. We don't want to try all these other guys, because then if he's then guarding Embiid at the other end as well, then Giannis has to work defensively. So I think what this strategy was from Philadelphia was like, let's just see if these other guys, they weren't throwing a lot of doubles at him. So we don't want those guys to get on a roll and get hot, because that's when the Bucks are at their best. If Mirotic and Bledsoe and those guys are hitting threes, they had some uncontested shots yesterday, but you didn't ever see them really get into a groove, and I think that's what really stood out to me. But Malcolm Brogdon, that's a huge blow.
Yeah, let's talk about 6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah.
they're saying, and hopefully he's back closer to the 6 weeks mark, but that is a tough loss. I mean, I know the casual fan maybe is like, Malcolm Brogdon, is that the guy that won Rookie of the Year, and all that? He is really key to what they do, both offensively and defensively, I think. And it's not just his percentages. He's going to go in the 50, 40, 90 club here because he's not going to play the rest of the regular season. That is amazing. But he attacks. He's another guy that can drive and a bit of a playmaker, setting up some of those shooters. So this is quite the loss here. Who steps up? I mean, Mirotic started in this game, but was that because they're playing the Sixers and they go big? Do you think they'll continue starting Mirotic? Is it Snell getting more minutes? What do you think?
Yeah, I would think that Mirotic kind of hangs out. Snell's not a ball handler. Mirotic isn't really a ball handler. Malcolm Brogdon is a guy who can create.
Yeah.
Other than Eric Bledsoe and Malcolm Brogdon, who do they have beside Giannis as a one-man offense? It's just a guy who can sort of just spark it. Yeah, they are going to miss him, and hopefully the first round shouldn't be a problem without Malcolm Brogdon.
Right.
A 1-8 matchup. But the second round, that could pose a problem.
And that's the thing. Budenholzer's got at least a few weeks here to try some things to see if it does work, because with Mirotic, I mean, he got thrown into it a little bit yesterday, so it didn't work. But maybe he does try to keep Mirotic coming off the bench and insert someone else so that he gives him that punch, because I think Mirotic is better suited to that role.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a major blow, because ball handler, can shoot the three. He's a very good clutch shooter, and also defensively gives him a lot of just that defensive presence that he brings out there. And I don't know how they replace all those things.
Right.
Maybe one or two of them, but not all three of them.
And just one more thing from this game. I want to give a shout out to the officials for letting these guys show a little competitive spirit. And I'm talking about when Giannis dunked on Ben Simmons, talked a little junk, and then the other way, Ben Simmons cleaned up a putback, dunked over Giannis, stared him back, but no text, no always taunting. They're into it. It had a bit of a playoff game atmosphere to it. And so shout out to the rest for letting them do that. It's fun. No egos are bruised here. This is two guys going at it, two all-stars going at it. And you're going to love it. This is a great game. I hope these two teams meet at some point in the playoffs. Maybe in a second round, maybe in the conference finals, because it was a treat. All right, Trey, our next headline.
Our next headline is from the New York Post. It reads, Clyde Frazier rips into LeBron during awkward Lakers timeout. Is this news?
All right, well, before we answer that, let's just see the clip of Clyde Frazier talking about LeBron sitting on the end of the bench. Here it is.
When you're the face of the NBA, I think you should be more a part of your team, folks. No matter what is going on in the public, you got to be a part of the team. Maybe in the locker room, you're not, but you have to exude that type of togetherness in public, folks. And right now, we see he doesn't really care.
So there it is. Clyde having some thoughts on LeBron. Is it news?
I thought Clyde was off base on this one. It was a timeout. Everyone is everywhere. And LeBron is talking to a teammate. He's talking to Tyson Chandler, and I believe another Lakers employee behind the bench. Everyone's everywhere. It's a break and play in Madison Square Garden.
I think his point is, though, that it looks like LeBron is kind of disinterested. That's the way I took it.
Sure.
We've already done this once before, haven't we? We did this in February with the Pacers.
I don't care, because the Lakers' season is over now, so it doesn't really matter. And their team's going to look completely different going into next season. But I just think it was more sort of highlighted again because it's LeBron, and he just sort of looks like he doesn't care. But I read nothing into it.
Until you can go and show me proof that LeBron never sat on the end of the bench and had their couple seats in between other teammates when he was winning championships and when he was on other teams, and he never did that. If you can show me proof that he never ever did that, then maybe this is a story. But from what we know, LeBron always does this, has always done this, taking these little breaks, goes down there, he's got his huge pads there, he's sitting on it, and you're right, it's a break of play, and he's not sitting right beside his teammates. It's just a non-story, and we shouldn't even be talking about the Lakers anymore. How many games out of the playoffs are there? 9?
Enough.
Yeah, enough. I mean, it's a little embarrassing. I'm angry at Clyde Frazier for bringing this up again, because here we are talking about it. But it's not newsworthy. It's not newsworthy. We're telling you.
We got to talk. Andre Ingram is about to sit almost next to LeBron. It's just like
talking
perfect
about?
time.
This is silly.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back to his Cleveland days. He used to sit in seat number 1. You remember when he had the guy who worked in the arena stand behind the seat, like the first seat. The first seat as close to the head coach as possible. That's where he used to sit. Now he doesn't like his teammates.
Should we talk about the Lakers losing to the Knicks and Hazonia blocking LeBron at the end? These should be the talking points. Instead, it's where he sat. All right, Trey, your final one, man.
Yeah, you don't have to sit or stand next to your teammates all the time. You can do 6 years of a show and never get close to them. Anyways, our final headline is from the Oregonian. It reads, Trailblazers guard C.J. McCollum has a left knee strain. He'll be reevaluated in a week. Is this news?
This is not good news for the Blazers. I know
it's not the worst case scenario.
Well, that's
like
what we know right now.
Right.
Saying reevaluated in a week.
Yeah.
But if he is out for 3 or 4 weeks, because they're in such a tight battle in the Western Conference for home court advantage, he's so important to what they do. They've got a few guys who they're going to probably try to throw in there. Seth Curry, Evan Turner to eat up his time.
Yeah, Rodney Hood, I think too.
Rodney Hood possibly as well. But I think if he's out for a significant amount of time, they really are going to struggle to finish higher than 6 in the Western Conference. And I don't think they can afford to do that. This season they need home court advantage, and without him, it's going to be so much harder for them to achieve that.
Yeah, a lot of smart people have already pointed out, too, there is a little precedent, right, for this injury.
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett suffered the same injury back in 2009, in March of 2009. He ultimately didn't even play in the playoffs. Celtics played 14 games, played 2 series that year. So you're right, it's this we'll check it in a week here. So it's not a guarantee. It sounds promising that he's going to play again, but that's, you're trying to find 21 points per game with CJ McCollum, and he's been playing really well. We talked about him taking over a game not too long ago, so that is going to be tough to do. That's a tough loss, similar to Brogdon to some extent.
Right, but it could be a week. Let's look at it that way for a second. And they could be at home for the entirety of his injury because they've got the next 4 at home. They've got sort of an easy schedule coming up, but you're right. They need home court advantage to advance this year. But unlike the Bucks, the Blazers, what's scary about them is they're a really top-heavy team. They've got a great starting lineup, but their bench gives up leads big time. And CJ McCollum has been sort of an Iron Man. He's missed 4 games the last 2 calendar years, so hopefully he bounces back.
All right, got to take a break. Lots more still to come on the show tonight. Austin Rivers is going to join us live in studio, and we got a brand new batch of Weekend Whoopsies. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
Welcome back to The Starters. It's time for some Weekend Whoopsies, the hoops and the bloops. Let's do this.
We had a fantastic weekend of mistakes. Blake Griffin with a tasty fake because it makes the Lakers bite hard.
Yeah, what a play.
The handoff, the keep.
Nope.
Oh, gorgeous.
That is gorgeous. Maybe it was that play that had LeBron James in tears on the sidelines, laughing. I mean, he's laughing here, folks. We're going to show you in a second. He's going to remove the towel.
He might be crying.
He's crying.
That's LeBron laughing.
Way to sell it, Kirby.
2 head coaches, Doc Rivers and Jim Boylan, get tossed at the exact same time. You're out of here! Both gone. But Jim Boylan, he's getting his money's worth.
Let's go, boys.
Why didn't he take his jacket off and throw it into the crowd?
Let's go, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Boys.
Look at all the high fives.
Go get it.
The guys are loving it.
He's still high-fiving.
How many both players are there?
Amazing. Rough weekend for Kelly Oubre Jr. All alone on the fast break. Going to give us something fancy. Yeah, okay, props for trying.
He's had some nice dunks this season.
Yeah, looks like he almost jumped too high.
Yeah, nearly airballed. That's a problem.
He's had lots of great ones, but 2 misses this weekend.
Ooh,
These great jerseys, too.
almost a wedgie on this.
Yeah, if he would have stuck that wedge, that would have been nuts. Okay, this was strange. That game, Suns Pelicans, we're in overtime. Suns down 3. They tied it up. All right.
Good
Okay.
shot.
A little bit of time left. Now watch Elvin Gentry calls the timeout, but there's a problem. You know where I'm
What's that?
going with this? Yeah, they don't have any timeouts.
Technical.
Refs talk it over, get the tech, Suns to the line, and win it at the free throw line. That's
Not the luck of the Irish.
that's a tough way to lose.
Referee Tony Brothers tosses the Nuggets Nikola Jokic here because he complains about the call, and Pacers Thaddeus Young loves the toss so much he pats Tony on the butt for it. Yeah! Way to go, Tony. Good call, Tony.
Come on, Thad.
Alonzo Trier dropping Josh Hart here with a mean.
Ooh, nice. Got to finish
Josh
it.
Hart just
Yep.
tripped.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
No, well,
I just buckled. Yeah, Trey didn't do anything.
No, he just dribbled.
Just fell. This was a weird no call. Pistons Raptors. Moreland is like 2 feet out of bounds. It's sort of similar to that Durant one earlier this year. What? He's got both
looking
feet.
at him.
Zaza's calling.
Zaza's like that. He's out.
Rough week for the Timberwolves, ending with a Rockets win on Sunday over them. Ryan Saunders, head coach, can't believe it. These fans in the back, they can believe it.
It's like that was their 18th three? Not even in the 4th quarter? Huh. Wow. Tough loss. Finally, one of my favorite clips from the season. Mike Scott hunting down a ball, jumps into the second row on poor lady's lap here, but he's like, oh, what are you drinking there? A little sip. Just dehydrated, playing a basketball game. Now you can see her mouth here. Watch, she's gonna take the sip. It's Jameson, she says. That's all right. Mike was feeling loose after that. He was feeling loose after that. So there it is. Weekend Whoopsies. Got to take a break. When we come back, though, Austin Rivers in studio. We'll talk to him next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. We're excited to welcome for the first time ever Rockets guard Austin Rivers,
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
Happy
you
to be
coming
here.
in.
No, thank you guys for having me.
You've had a wild season.
This has been a crazy season.
Yeah, right? Let's take the people through it. You got traded in the summer to the Wizards. You're there for a couple months. Then you got traded to the Suns. You're away from the Suns. And then right before Christmas, I guess it was, you signed with the Rockets. Has this been a challenging year?
Nice Christmas present, man.
I'll say.
Go to Houston. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, honestly. This is the most challenging year of my career that I've had so far because it's been constantly adjusting. And I guess more importantly than that, it's been adjusting and then not working, you know, trying to figure it out. And then once it does fit, you know, it felt really good to go somewhere and be appreciated and just fit in. You know, I fit in right away from day one, so it's been great in Houston.
And on top of that, you're a fairly new dad too. So
yes, I am. It's been a lot of I've been
some
moving
more
around
stress
with
to
him.
add.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's been interesting.
Awesome. All right, let's play a little lock it in here.
Okay.
I'll explain how this works. We're gonna give you a statement. If you agree with it, you hit that big red button. You lock it in. If not, you know, don't press it. We'll talk it over. Move on to the next one. All right. First one. This is something sort of Chris Paul has said before, so I'm interested to hear your take on it. James Harden is the best offensive player you've ever played with. Do you lock that in? Ever seen, ever played with, that type of thing?
Yeah, I'm a.
You're gonna lock that in.
That one.
He played with some good ones.
Yeah.
I have. I've never seen somebody be able to score the way he does so easily. I mean, there's games where even that 58-point game I had no idea he had 58. I thought he had like 30 something. I mean, he just scores. And when you look at these plays, man, he's getting double teamed, triple teamed. You know he's the best offensive player. I've never seen, name another team in the league where teams like go zone and like try to chase the ball out of someone else's hands. I mean, there's nobody that's, and obviously his usage rate might be higher. I don't know the statistics, but yeah, he's definitely the best offensive player in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to this next one. KG told this story that you challenged him to a one-on-one game. You were a junior in high school going into the Celtics practice, so lock this in. You challenged him to a one-on-one game.
That's true.
Yeah, that was true. Yeah.
Wow.
That was crazy. It happened organically, which is the best part about it. I was just out there playing. I didn't really get to go up there a lot, so I didn't know them. So they didn't know if I was good or not. For people who don't know, I grew up in Orlando. My dad, most of my life was in Boston.
Right.
So I would go up there like maybe 4 or 5 times a year. But you know, I never got to interact with Paul or those guys. And I was playing. They didn't know I was like a top-rated high school player. So KG was like, check up. I took it like super serious. He wasn't taking it serious at all. I drove by him and I dunked it like the first play of one-on-one. And everybody started going like, you know, all the players start gassing it and making it. So then he ties up his shoes and next thing you know, like he's going like, I'm like, he starts cussing at me and going super hard. I'm like, whoa, man. Like,
Yeah, that sounds like KG.
yeah, and then it went there and then he ended up winning. I couldn't, he was a little taller than me. I couldn't do nothing with him. But yeah, that's an experience I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Oh, for sure.
You got Kendrick Perkins that day, 5-0, I heard, though.
No comment.
All right, next one here. We're getting close to the playoffs. Less than a month to go, really.
Right.
Do you lock this in? Your Rockets can beat the Warriors. That's what I wrote down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You believe that?
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? Your Rockets will beat the Warriors.
Why not? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't step on the floor if I believed otherwise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to. Versus them, they feed on teams fearing them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And rightfully so. They've won 3 out of the last 4 years. I just think we're the team with the most depth in terms of being able to challenge them with scoring and playing that style, that fast-paced shooting threes, getting to the basket. They do have a new dynamic with DeMarcus, which is starting to come on. Sure. As you saw last game, we kind of struggled with that dynamic because we were so used to switching. We switched everything with them. And now with DeMarcus in there, like we couldn't switch so much because he had a great game for us, so we'll have to figure something else out. But yeah, I mean, I think Denver has the right to say that. OKC, there's a couple teams out there.
But you got to believe it.
You have to. You don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
You have to go in there thinking like we're the team. This is the year where they fall. Like this is the year we could beat them. Otherwise, they're going to beat everybody again like they usually do. Yeah. So hopefully we can get it done.
Before we get to this next one, we got to watch Jamie Foxx do an impression of Doc Rivers. Here it is.
It's game 6, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. They just got to, they got to buckle down. They got to get out there. I'm going to go take some lozenges and get ready for the game, But I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to, you have to play. You got to play. If you don't play, then you don't win. If you don't win, then we don't have anything. You know what I mean?
With his daughter in his lap. Very impressive. So we got to get your opinion. Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I'm
does a good
logging that
impression.
in twice, man.
That's pretty good.
It's not just that he sounds like him, it's the way he's talking
Yeah.
is like exactly the tempo that my father talks. He says it, he sounds just like him, and that's probably the best impression I've heard.
That's very good. All right, March Madness right around the corner here. Got the first four tipping Tuesday. The big games on Thursday. Is Duke winning
Duke.
the NCAA title? Do you lock it in? Yeah.
Got the boy back,
Yeah.
or the man child, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what you've been watching just as closely as everybody else.
Yeah.
Zion and this team.
Yeah, incredible. He's I've never seen nobody like him in terms of his physical. I mean, well, LeBron is the last person, and I'm not going to dissect his game, but just in terms of his physical domination, the presence he has, the way he's able to explode to the basket. I've just never seen anybody dominate like that since him, and the sky's the limit for him and RJ and those guys. So
You got him winning. If you filled
it's
up the
going to be.
bracket yet?
They're young, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So their worst enemy is going to be like a veteran college team
Sure.
that moves the ball and uses 30 seconds of the shot clock. That's going to be the team that, if can beat them, will beat them. But if they can get past those teams, I don't see anybody beating them. No.
All right, last one here, Austin. This past Halloween, we all had Austin Powers themed costumes with a little basketball tie-in. So this is Austin Rivers Powers. That's your jersey.
I'm wearing your Wizards jersey.
Your
all the
Wizards
time.
jersey.
You can't see what that giant
I got to
doily
give
is.
you some respect that you found that jersey. I don't even have that myself, so yeah, I'll give you.
We got one for you. So is that a good costume?
I got to like that in.
I don't know. I didn't like the costume they got me. They got me in a weird suit with that. I was happy with the jersey, to be honest, and the suit, the cheap suit they got me in.
No, I'll give you credit, man. You're probably on the internet for hours looking for
Shout out to our team. Forget that.
For the
Guys,
Wizards jersey.
Thank you so much, Austin,
man.
for coming out.
Oh, no, thank you guys for having me
And,
anytime, man. Appreciate
continued
it.
success. Good
Thank
luck in
you,
the playoffs,
thank you,
man.
thank you, guys.
All right, we
Thank
got to
you.
take a break. When we come back, we got Lely's very solid play. Don't go anywhere. Got the Celtics winning this one, eh, Lely?
Oh, yeah.
No, spoiler. What time is it?
Crunch time.
Tonight on NBA TV, 9 p.m. Eastern, catch all the great finishes from around the association. Okay, we got tonight's pick-em. Nuggets Celtics. Wow, everybody taking Boston. Little surprised by this.
It's close to St. Patty's Day.
I guess. All right. Lee, very solid play.
Yeah,
Celtics getting the honors.
That's right. We're going out to Boston on Saturday for this beauty against the Hawks here. The ball marker smart, kind of almost a double-ender, but I didn't quite go fully with it. But look at this ball movement. Ends with Jaylen Brown, beautiful in the corner for a three. That's what I call a very solid play.
Very solid.
You know what's just as solid as that? A royal wedgie. LeBron James in Madison Square Garden of all places.
Yep, I've been there.
Number 32 on the
back.
season.
That's a good, solid wedgie.
Yeah.
Deep.
Hasn't been a great season, but you get that wedgie.
Trey says
Makes up for
LeBron
it.
has had a wedgie at least once for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
One
he's
of the
a huge
great
Starters
streaks.
fan.
Well, it's going to be our first topic on tomorrow's show.
On the Drop Podcast, I guess we'll talk about it. Keep your eyes and your ears ready for that Drop Podcast. We'll get it up as soon as possible. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts. Get your questions in right now. Hashtag the starters. That's it for us. Thanks to Austin Rivers. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And yeah, we like our own show. This is us reacting to our show every single day.
Cheers on the sidelines.
Yeah.
You committed to the bit, right?
Yeah.
In a second, he's gonna
Just great
remove the
directing
towel.
upstairs, you know?
Crying.
He's crying.
That's LeBron laughing.
Yeah, yeah. Tricky.